From the high desert southwest and an indiscreet shave den located in the deep recesses of Ouch's basement, broadcasting north from McMurdo Sound to Ice Station Zebra and east and west across all time zones to our members throughout the world, this is Badger and Blade Radio. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to our special edition as we celebrate the life of Sue Moore on B&B Radio. Lots of good things to get to, a little bit of housekeeping to take care of before we get started into our special Sue Moore Memorial Auction Show. We told you last week about a couple of people that were challenged to take Pinaud Lilac Vegetal and Tabac and mix them together. Well, rather than going into the details, take a look at this video of the Legend of TABACAVEG. The stories had been passed around for a millennia, the myths and legends, filtered down through time. The tribulations of the Middle-earth kingdom of Tabac and the kingdom of Pinaud Lilac Vegetal. This is a story of an alliance needed to battle the words of blasphemy. For centuries, the Knights of the Veg Table had suffered such attacks. Little did they know on the other side of Middle-earth, the realm of Tabac was also being assaulted. Constant warring of cats, urinals, old ladies, and retirement homes by the anti-Vegalists, led by the pinkyless man known as Sir Imataba. Him and his minions would attack quickly and swiftly, but then run away. An alliance was needed to defeat this blasphemy. An alliance of the realms of Tabac and Pinaud Lilac Vegetal. Emissaries from both realms met, and it was agreed that a weapon of such power was needed to battle the anti-Vegalists. The apothecary sages from both realms began working on this ultimate weapon, and in the end, they found TABACAVEG. The realms gave of their resources. The mixture was to be equal. The elixir of Pinaud Lilac Vegetal and the manly fragrance that is Tabac. But to ensure the battle will be won, they would also create a soap of such epic proportions that assuredly the blasphemous Imataba anti-Vegalists would be defeated. There was a secret weapon, however. During one of the quick campaigns from the anti-Vegalists, property was dropped, and the final ingredient was in place to ensure the battle would be won. And that was the shave soap of Mrs. Tabor's old-time shave soap. It would be the final ingredient, the final nail in the coffin, to rid the realms of Sir Imataba and the anti-Vegalists. The date was set, the 16th of October in the year of our Lord 2016, for the campaign to begin. As the knights prepared and prayed to the goddess of Lilac Vegetal, weapons needed to be chosen. The Vorpal sword, with its razor-like efficiency, this would be the sword of battle. It is also a sword that used to belong to Sir Imataba. So would he be defeated by his own weaponry? The soap was made. The elixir was made. The brushes were set. The time was now upon us. TABACAVEG and the realms of Middle-earth battle against Sir Imataba and the anti-Vegalists. What would be the outcome? Well, we certainly hope that you enjoyed that little fun video on the Legend of TABACAVEG, and we do apologize to our podcast listeners. This was mostly in video format, so please head on over to www.badgerandblade.com and go into the video library forum, and you can find this along with show notes as well. We'd like to thank those gentlemen that were involved in our little experiment of mixing Pinot, Lilac, Vegetal, and Tobacco, and you can find a full recap and some funny stories over in the Shave Journal section. And if you haven't started a Shave Journal, it might be a good time to do so. So without further ado, we'd like to thank CB Lindsay, Smat at You, and the Vez 2, as well as all the Knights of the Veg Table who supported this little fun act for a Sunday. And of course, we have to thank our nemesis, Ima Tabor, the leader of the anti-Vegilists, along with his cohort in crime, Doc 47. We certainly appreciate that we had a lot of fun with this, and if you get a chance to take a look over in the Shave Journal, please do so. When we get back, we'll have our full interview with Wendy from St. Charles Shave, the daughter of Sue Moore, as we continue this special episode of Badger and Blade Radio, celebrating the life that is Sue Moore. Welcome back to Badger and Blade, everybody, and as you do know, within 48 hours, the Sue Moore Memorial Auction for 2016 will be starting, and we are very honored to have Wendy, the daughter of Sue Moore, as our special guest tonight. How you doing, Wendy?
Great. How about yourself?
I'm doing very well, and I really, really appreciate, as well as all the members of Badger and Blade appreciate the fact that you're taking time with us to give us a little bit of an insight. And you know what? Tell us a little bit about your mom, and if you can recall, how did St. Charles Shave get started, and how did she get involved with Badger and Blade?
Well, my mom, as most people probably don't know, she was very ill. She had an autoimmune disease, and it left her wheelchair bound and legally blind. So she would find things to trinket with, make different crafts. She could make anything. She couldn't see very well, obviously. She'd use magnifying glass to be able to feel and touch around stuff, magnifying glass on her massive monitor at home to read the computer. And she just started making soaps and lotions for friends and family. Started listing stuff on eBay, and one day she got an email from Tony Esposito asking, had she ever made a shave soap? No, she never had, and she thought she'd give it a try, and from there it went to selling a lot of soap on eBay to opening up an LLC and going into business at that point.
Wow.
So she just, something to keep her going, keep her busy, because she was confined to her house.
Sure. Well, and then, and I know that she was one of the very first and one of the founding members of Badger and Blade, as I recall.
Yes, she was in it right from the get-go.
Well, and I think that's why the members have such a love for St. Charles Shave, I think, and you know, with the unfortunate, you know, passing of your mom, why it's so important each and every year for you know, for the Sue Moore auction each and every year, especially with the fact that, you know, all the proceeds are donated to the National Breast Cancer Foundation. Now, have you always been involved in the business, and are there any other family members involved?
There's no other family members. Of course, we all have chipped in and helped from time to time when she needed help before I joined forces with her. I lived in the same neighborhood, and I would go over if she had an influx of sales or a special sale, something of that sort going on. And about 2 years after she was in business, I had got laid off from the company I was with. I was 2 months pregnant, didn't want to go seek work elsewhere, didn't think it'd be fair to another company, so I thought, well, I'll work with her just during my pregnancy and maybe 6 months after, and from there, I just never went back. I enjoyed it. It was fun watching her. You know, she'd scoot around in her wheelchair in the basement, and she was like Tasmanian devil.
Wow. Well, and it's nice to see that you've kept that going. And as far as I recall with conversations that you and I have had in the past, after she passed, was it Jim that approached you about the auction?
I'm pretty sure it was Jim. During that time frame, everything's kind of a blur. I think I talked to a couple people, but I believe Jim was the main person who had originally approached about it. And I know they had done... Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
I know they had done a thread, and people were commenting and leaving messages to my mom when she was on hospice care right before she had passed. And I printed off all those emails and messages and PMs that were in regards to my mom, and I took them to her, and she got to read those a couple days before she passed. And then shortly after that, I had spoke with Jim and maybe other people also.
Sure. No, I understand. I can imagine that it was probably quite a blur, but it's also a neat, heartwarming story to know that, you know, the forum that she was here from the beginning, you know, reached out so quickly to say, hey, we want to do something to, you know, to pay Sue's memory back by doing that. And, you know, with that in mind, and I know as busy as you are, you may not see it as much as often, but what do you think it is that causes the auction to have such a positive and emotional impact each and every year?
Well, I think in general, everybody has been touched in their lives by some sort of cancer, breast cancer, colon cancer, any type of cancer, a loved one, a friend. And then you take it to a personal level with my mom, who had such great friendships with people she had just met online. In fact, when she first started communicating on Badger and Blade, I heard about Mark the Shoeshine Boy all the time. All these jokes. She had to tell me about these every day. I'm like, what kind of name is that? Mark the Shoeshine Boy? And I didn't even know that there was different handles for everybody. I'm thinking, well, that's kind of odd.
Well, you know, it's funny, and that's just it. You know, a lot of us, we go by our avatars and stuff like that. But the one thing that I think, you know, what you're pointing out is that how unique Badger and Blade is in the realm of online forums. You know, it's really a big family. And, you know, the people that have been around a long time get to know people. And even though they've never shaken your hand, they've never looked you in the eye. And I think that's one of the biggest things, because I don't know how recently you were on the forum, but it's a fever pitch right now. I mean, avatars are starting to turn pink. People's threads are starting to turn pink. And you had mentioned to me off air that even in and around where you live, things are going on to remember your mom, correct?
Oh, yes. Yep. Pink hair on my daughter's soccer team, pink hair in the schools. My kids, of course, have pink shoes, pink clothes, pink everything.
Well, and it's got to be heartwarming. I'm sure, you know, obviously I lost my mom in February to Alzheimer's. And so, you know, I know that each time the memory comes up, you know, it's one of those bittersweet things. You know, it's sweet that everybody's coming out to support the memory, but at the same time, it was your mom, you know, and that makes it tough. Are there any things in the auction that have surprised you as far as the success of the auction?
I think it all surprises me. Every year, it just gets bigger, and people are more generous, and everybody comes together. It's just such a unique, I don't even know. It's just amazing. I don't even know how to put it into words. My mom would just be shocked.
Well, but and the thing is, and we've been talking about your mom, but at the same time, you deserve a lot of the credit because you're a household name around Badger and Blade now. You think St. Charles Shave, the first thing you do is you think of Wendy, and so you've kept that tradition going. And now that you're kind of running the business, obviously, what have you learned and what has surprised you about running, an artisan business like this?
Surprising how hard it is.
Mm-hmm.
I am shocked at the amount of hours. There's no way I could ever put in the time that my mom did. I'm shocked at how into shave gear men are. That is baffling. Oh my gosh, women! I don't even think women are this bad about their stuff. We've got to have all of our little sprays and stuff like that. You men are crazy about this stuff.
Well,
you know it all.
well, that for years and years and years, we as men have been barraged by all the different, makeup and perfume commercials and having to navigate our way around our lovely spouse's equipment and stuff in there. So I think in a way this is somewhat payback because in my case, I actually got kicked out of the master bathroom. I actually am now been relegated to the guest bathroom, but now I've filled it up with so much shaving stuff that I'm starting to bleed out into other rooms, which isn't going so well. But and I think that what you just said is perfect. I mean, who would have thought that you take over the business from your mom and it's shaving soap, it's soap, and then all of a sudden, boom, everybody's saying, hey, we need this, we want this, can you do this, can you do that? And so actually it's it's a big business. It really is.
See, and everybody always said the women are the shoppers. I beg to differ.
Well, and I think the auction actually proves that point because what's amazing to me is when you see the amount that goes for some of the items. Now, obviously, when we go out and we buy regular shave soap and stuff like that, that's one thing. But for the auction, everybody ramps it up, obviously because it's for your mom, and obviously it's because for the National Breast Cancer Foundation. But it's amazing what some of these things go for, and that's all thanks to you, your businesses, some of the other artisans that are out there, and really most importantly, it's the biggest 3-day event on our calendar each and every year, and the 19th, as you know, is always Sue Moore Day on badgerandblade.com, and everything goes pink. Everything goes pink, and people talk about it, and it's just neat. Now, is anything else surprised you about running the business?
Well, not so much that I can pinpoint yet, because everything has surprised me. I'm not even kidding about that. It's just the in-depth of recipes, how much detail has to go into every new recipe. You would think, well, there's just a few fine ingredients that you need, and then you add whatever else to make it your own. And it's not that easy. It's not that easy. I hear tonight at my daughter's softball game, ladies talking about how she makes her own perfume.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really? Well, how did you start doing that? Well, I mix vodka and something else. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess if that works for you. But yeah, just finding the different ingredients, trying to make a recipe and a fragrance that's going to be a hit. It's very hard.
Well, and I think talking to some people, they say that running a business, in the men's, or for lack of a better term, the shaving realm, when it comes to soaps, aftershaves, body soaps, and stuff like that, is one success with about 5,000 failures.
Absolutely. And then do it with some children in the house that need to be down there right up in it too. Exactly. Wanting to package and label. And if anybody's ever got shave soap samples from me, they can probably tell that my kids had put labels on them because they have to be in it.
Well, and in a way that's good because it brings that legacy. And I think for those of us that purchase from you on a fairly regular basis, that it does bring that family, with the memory of Sue and with you now running it and with the kids involved and everything else. I mean, you just mentioned the word fairway on Badger and Blade, and that thread will explode in a heartbeat, which says something to what you guys have built up to this point. And because your products are stupendous, and that's one thing you said earlier about we as men are the big shoppers with shave stuff and we know everything, but at the same time, when we find something good, we won't shut up about it. And Fairway is just one of the products that I know that just gets airtime like crazy because everybody loves it. Now, do you have any final thoughts for the members of Badger and Blade and about the auction, and maybe a little bit about your mom?
Well, I'd just really like to say thank you to everybody who participates, whether it's donating, just donating time, buying items, passing the word along. And I know it's something that if my mom could be here to see it, she'd be thrilled. I don't think she realized the love and outreach of people that really cared so much.
Well, and I think you're right. Now, for the listeners and for, maybe some of those new members that have not been to St. Charles Shave, can you go ahead and give us your website?
It's www.stcharlesshave.com.
Fantastic. Well, Wendy, I appreciate you taking the time, because a lot of times when you go down memory lane, it can be, sometimes a painful road, even though, this is a happy time. But we really want to thank you for taking the time, for sticking with Badger and Blade, and being, as part of the family. You are one of the longest term members and one of the longest term vendors of Badger and Blade, and everyone from the ownership all the way down to the mods and stewards and the members really, really appreciate you being there for us. And I want to thank you on behalf of Badger and Blade Radio for taking the time to do this interview.
Well, thank you. Thank all the members, the mods, everybody.
I will do that, and I hope to see you maybe for a day lurking around during the auction.
I will do that. I will be homebound, so I will be on.
Fantastic, Wendy. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
We certainly hope that you're enjoying this special episode of Badger and Blade Radio, as it is dedicated to the life of Sue Moore. Once again, we'd like to thank Wendy from St. Charles Shave for that wonderful interview and spending some time with us. Back in 2015, we did a video on the Sue Moore Memorial Auction, and for those members that are brand new to Badger and Blade this year, we thought it'd be a good idea to just show it to you. Now, please remember the dates and times are from 2015, but we wanted to give you a chance to see a little bit more about Sue Moore, how the auction works, and so forth. So please take a look at this, and we'll be right back after the video to close out this episode. November 2010, BadgerandBlade.com lost a shining star within the wet shaving community. Sue Moore, better known as Saint Sue, lost her battle with breast cancer after being diagnosed in February of that year. Breast cancer takes the lives of thousands and thousands of both men and women each and every year. Sue was a founding member of BadgerandBlade.com and was also a very highly respected vendor here on the forum. Sue owned and operated St. Charles Shave, a purveyor and maker of high-quality shave soaps, aftershaves, and other care items for both men and women, a tradition that continues today under the watchful eye of her daughter and family. Sue was an integral part of BadgerandBlade.com and touched the lives of so many here. Prior to her passing, Sue had received the Badger and Blade Merit Award, one of the organization's highest and most coveted recognitions. So touched were the members of BadgerandBlade.com that October 19th of each year will forever be known as Sue Moore Day here on the forum. So dedicated are the members that you will often see many of their avatars dressed in pink as a tribute to the woman so loved by the ladies and gentlemen here on the forum. In a continuing effort to bring breast cancer awareness to the forefront, BadgerandBlade.com and its members have partnered with the National Breast Cancer Foundation to present a live auction each and every year to support the research and eventual cure of this horrible disease. The auction brings together literally thousands of members and hundreds of auction items annually. The auction items are donated by caring members and vendors of BadgerandBlade.com. 100% of the proceeds are donated in Sue's name to the National Breast Cancer Foundation by the members making their donations directly to the NBCF. As of July 2015, BadgerandBlade.com had raised over $64,000 on its way to $100,000 or more. This is where you can help.
October 19th, 2015 is when this year's auction will kick off. You can literally bid on hundreds of items, with again 100% of the proceeds being donated directly by you, the members, to the National Breast Cancer Foundation. You can find the auction link on the main page of badgerandblade.com. Also, this auction needs your help in other ways as well. Be an integral part of the auction by donating items such as wet shaving gear, vintage razors and straights, body and skin care items, pipes, cigars, lighters, coffee, and so much more. Or, if you'd like to make a direct donation, you can do so directly to the NBCF. Again, the auction will begin October 19th, 2015, and can be found at badgerandblade.com. Our website address is www.badgerandblade.com. You'll find all the information on the main forum index page. There will also be instructions on how to donate items for the auction, as well as monetary donations directly to the NBCF. We look forward to your support of the Sue Moore Memorial Auction to benefit National Breast Cancer Foundation awareness on October 19th, right here at the largest and most comprehensive wet shaving forum in the world at badgerandblade.com. We hope to see you there. As we close out this episode of Badger and Blade Radio, just a reminder, you have 2 days left to get any donations that you would like to give to the auction. Also, as of right now, we have over 130 lots of items that you will be able to bid on when the auction does start on the 19th. Currently, we have gained over $105,000 in the year-to-date totals for the National Breast Cancer Foundation, $25,000 of that being from last year, and our goal is to beat that this year. We'd like to certainly thank all the members and the vendors for all the donations that they made to the auction this year, as well as to the auctioneer team, the stewards and moderators for all the hard work they do to make this a successful event each and every year. What we'd also like to do is suggest that all members on Sue Moore Day, or even now, find an avatar that you can color pink or put a pink border around your avatar just to show that you're thinking about Sue Moore. As always, as we close out our show, we'd like to thank the moderators and stewards for all the hard work they do each and every day to make this a wonderful place, to the owners and administrators for giving us this forum to spend our time on, and of course to you, the member. You are the lifeblood of badgerandblade.com. And for those of you that are listening on our podcast, we do suggest for this episode that you do head on over to www.badgerandblade.com to take a look, as this episode was fairly video heavy. I've been your host, Skyside, and please stay tuned for our October 31st show, our Halloween special. And don't forget, we still have our Halloween Piffs going on, and we're looking for information on the paranormal to discuss on that Halloween show. Again, I'm Skyside. Have a wonderful week, and thanks for listening.